Hi students, today we're going to be learning about form. We're going to do some pencil shading to make flat two-dimensional shapes look three-dimensional. Here's an example of form. It's got some boxes that were drawn from rectangles. And notice how some areas are darker, some areas are kind of a medium shade, and some are lighter to make it all have form or three-dimension. Your supplies, you'll need white paper, a pencil for shading, any color of markers that you'd like, something round. You could use like a cup or trace around tape or a stencil. If you'd like to use a ruler, you could use these on the straight edges of your shapes. You don't have to use a ruler if you don't have one. To start off with, I'm going to take my pencil, and over here on this side, I'm going to draw a cylinder. So I'm going to take my straight edge, and I'm going to draw almost a rectangle. I'm going to draw the same length of lines on both sides. And then on the bottom, I'll go ahead and curve that edge. Same thing on the top. And come around right there so we can kind of see the top of the cylinder. Beside that, I'm going to draw about maybe a 3-inch square. Doesn't have to be 3 inches, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And then on the sides of the square, on this side, I'm going to go ahead and bring that back, an angle line there so that I can see that side of my cube or box, and right up here at the top. And then I'm going to finish right up here at top with another 3-inch line that matches. These two are the same, and this matches my cylinder line. So I've got a cube. On this side, I'm going to take my stencil. Remember, you could use a cup if you want, or anything that's a circle. And I'm going to draw my circle. I'm going to overlap it right behind my cube. And so I have a cylinder, cube, and a circle that's fixing to become a sphere. I added this drawing just to show you that this is a light bulb. It's my light source. So I have lines here drawn to where the light would be hitting my cylinder, the top of my cube, and the top of this sphere or circle. So you don't have to add the light source. If you'd like to, that'd be fine. But I just kind of want to have a guide of where things are going to be lighter. Before we get started drawing our shapes, I'd like to show you a tip on shading. Right up here at the top, I'm going to apply more pressure to make my shading darker. And then as you release on the pressure, and you get lighter and lighter pressure, it gets more gray and lighter gray until it almost disappears. This is a good shading technique. So you've got from dark to light. This is also called gradation. So it's a gradual change from dark to light. To get started on my shapes, over here on this left side, I'm going to draw a straight line about 4 to 4.5 inches tall, and the same length right beside it. So since I'm making a cylinder, I'll have to round the bottom and then make that identical at the top, and then finish it off with the other side right here. Okay, beside that, I'm going to draw a square, just approximately about 3 inches. Now, to make this a three-dimensional square cube or box, I'm going to have to add another side at the top, another line going across the same distance, and then I'll connect right here on this end, right here in the middle, and keep my same angle right here at the bottom. So all three of these lines are identical. They're going in the same direction. Okay, right here I'm going to make a circle, which will become a sphere. I'm going to use a stencil. Remember, you could use a cup or anything that's a circle that you can draw around. And then I'll start shading to make them look three-dimensional or have form. Okay, I added in the top right a light bulb here. You don't have to put the light bulb. I just wanted to show you where my light is coming from. So my light's in the top right corner. So I think it would be shining light right up here toward the top and on the right side of my 3D objects. So these areas will be lighter when I start shading. So right over here on the cylinder, I'm going to start off with my darkest side on the opposite side of the light. So I'm going to take my pencil. I kind of like to use the side of the pencil, lay it down at an angle. And then as I come around the cylinder, I'm going to get lighter and lighter with less pressure and less pressure. So darker over here on the right side, left side, and then get lighter and lighter. I'm going to leave the top white because that's where the most light is hitting it. And I added just a touch of light gray right there just to make it look a little bit more round and have the form that I wanted. Okay, so here's my cube. Here's my light source. This area right here will be the lightest. And this is on the opposite side, so this is the darkest. I think I'll make this area here kind of a medium shade. When you're shading, just try to make it as smooth as you can. Sometimes I like to just go back and add layers. Start off light and then get darker. You can go back around the edges and touch up. All right, on my circle or my sphere, I've already applied the darker area with the most pressure. And then I'm going to come a little bit closer toward the light with lighter pressure and lighter shades or tints. The shades for the dark area when we talked about value, and the tints for the lighter area. Okay, so I have my 3D shapes. Now, not only is this a circle, it's a sphere because it has form. The last step is to apply some color to your background. The last step, we're going to add some color to your background. So what I did was I drew a line just on these four edges, just to kind of just divide up the space. I drew lines from the objects or the shapes to the edge of the paper. So I have about 5 sections there. And then I'm going to just start drawing patterns. So I'm going to take my marker and I might do a line pattern here. And I'm just going to repeat it. This is where you can get really creative and create your own original art piece. After you fill in all sides, this is what my finished project looked like. So I added some bright colors.